Thank you. I think that question to really mean how are you going to facilitate more input from the community? And as I already said, I would reinstate some of the committees that the previous council disbanded because I believe that committees can investigate certain issues in a lot more depth than individual councillors can and then come back with recommendations. And I would also properly investigate issues that come to council, and I'll give you an example of what I mean, why that's a listening issue. There was recently a decision at council where I was in the audience and citizens came and spoke and they said contradictory things and our planner said contradictory things and then the council made a decision. And these weren't contradictory opinions, these were the facts. The facts were not even properly established. And so I can guarantee you one party there felt that they weren't listened to. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Tony Booth to respond to that question, please.
Summerland Council needs to report its activities to residents in a timely fashion. This is so that the decisions and details of municipal business is shared, it's transparent, and it's accessible to all other residents of Summerland. Lack of public disclosure leads to uninformed citizens who feel marginalized from the democratic process. And after all, that's why we're here. This is a democratic process. There must be open and honest communication between council and residents of Summerland. And as some of my colleagues here, the other candidates that are running, I too would like to see some of the committees brought back on stream so that there is a chance for residents to be heard. Dialogue and opportunities for this build a culture of trust and respect, and then we can reunite as a community and move forward and deal with the issues and challenges that are ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I move on to question number 5, I'd like to compliment all of you folks for hanging in here and listening to this discussion and taking your points from it. After all, this is a democratic process, like my grandfather used to say, use it or lose it. Question number 5, what does economic development mean to you? Janet, could you please respond?
Economic development means that people have an opportunity to use their wits and their skills and bring their talents both creatively and in business process. And council sets the tone for the community to have those conversations, to invite investment, and to create a development opportunity by looking after our infrastructure and our amenities. So it's not council that creates the economic development. It's the people that live here, that establish benefit businesses, that make the risk happen and their businesses grow. Your council should be creating the environment to invite others to come here, to live, to respect our society, to put their creativity to work, and to build their businesses, both the ones that are here now and those that we can invite to come here. I would expect that our community should be working on that in a very active way, and I on council would hope to do that.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Ken Roddicker to respond to that question, please.
Thank you. What does it mean to me? It means growing your community, sustaining your community, developing a future for your community. As I was talking about earlier, this is a wine community, it's a wine town. We need to bring that to everyone. Let us be known as the place in the Okanagan to go to come down to our resort, come down to our parks, come down to our water facilities. Let's become the destination, the wine destination, and we'll see growth right from there. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Mark Smith to respond to that question, please.
Economic development is going to bring in a lot of dollars to the Summerland community. It's going to help our businesses that are existing and promote new businesses. We need to focus on the success stories and the businesses that are doing well. It's easy to go downtown and get a negative outlook. It's
pushing some closed businesses, but there are some businesses that are doing very well, and if we could give them some sort of tax incentives or some sort of marketing dollars and piggyback Summerland as a community on top of existing marketing ideas from businesses. I have people from all over the world who ask me about, oh, are you from the town where Summerland Sweets is? Why aren't we taking advantage of these things? Those are where our economic development is going to come from. The successful people that are in these towns that have thriving businesses. Thanks.
Thank you. Aaron Tran, could you respond to that question, please?
It's council's job to facilitate business, so that means providing good infrastructure and being open and ready for business. Personally, I think that economic development means bringing entrepreneurs to town. That's why I moved here. I moved here to start my own video production and communications company, and I moved here because of the lifestyle that's really attracted me here, and I love it here. I don't regret moving here at all. It also means encouraging people to support local business and be an advocate for Summerland. I believe that we can position Summerland to be one of the best destinations in the province for food and wine production, food science and innovation, and tourism. And that's about it. Just be the biggest advocates we can for ourselves to promote economic development.
Thank you. Martin Van Elpen, could you please respond to that question?
Thank you. Economic development means to me, what we've done here, this council, is we set aside some land out in Bentley Road, which was in the agricultural land reserve, which was identified in 1995 as a piece of land that could come out. Now the land is out, we need to market it. We need to promote it. We need to bring industry, some types of businesses into town. Also, we need to be all inclusive. We need to have housing for younger people in this town who contribute to our economic development. And I think we need to just be more open in that area and have the land zoned appropriately and ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard Barwell, could you please respond to that question?
What does economic development mean to me? To me, it means jobs. The question is, how are we going to get some jobs in Summerland? Well, one area which I think has seen growth spontaneously and which we should then further encourage is agritourism. One area where we seem to be getting close to having a critical mass is in the arts area. I think that the art people attract each other, and once they feel that we've got a certain critical large number of people, they'll attract more. And we need to figure out why people move to this community. I asked a realtor the other day why someone would choose Summerland over Penticton in their experience when they're showing people around. And he said, oh, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. So if the realtors don't know, who does? We got to figure that out. We got to build on our strengths, and we got to deal with our weaknesses. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Tony Booth to respond to that question, please.
To me, economic development will come only with a close look at the resources that we have. We can grow our town, and I'm not afraid of growth. We can grow our town and create a vibrant and vital town that we used to have. Not just in the downtown core, but in other areas as well. I think this can best be accomplished by first creating a plan. And I would like to see the plan include opportunities for economic development in these areas. Value-added agriculture, we have so many examples already. Arts and culture, clean, sustainable technology, and tourism, including both rural and recreational tourism. Once a plan is in place, then the work begins to market what we have here, our lifestyle, the policies that can be put into place to welcome people into Summerland, attract them here, and then retain them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Aaron Carlson to respond to that question, please.
Economic development requires improvements to goods and services. I would say that the goods and services that we have here in Summerland include agriculture and agritourism. They are different things. Food, wine, regular tourism, arts, facilities for the elderly, science and innovation, the great outdoors, biking, hiking, swimming, all of those things that we come here for. And we should build houses, but we need to have an economic driver as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call on John Dorn to respond to that question, please.
Economic development is growth with a conscience and with integrity. And growth requires jobs. It is not building houses on high-value agricultural land. Economic development would surely be helped if we reinstated the position of an economic development officer, possibly a volunteer position, maybe even on a paid-for-performance type of contract. That person needs to go out and actually attract the entrepreneurs, the investors, and the job creators, go out of the province and lure them to this fine city that we have. It's a mix of business and it's a mix of housing, including multifamily affordable housing that will bring in young families and fill our schools. We need to lead with our strengths: agriculture, tourism, wineries, arts and cultures. That's what economic growth means to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Gray, do we have your answer, response to that question?
You to review.
What does economic development mean to you?
Yeah, let's just be clear here. We have a well-equipped and trained Chamber of Commerce whose sole mission is to promote and attract business to our town. I see municipal council's job as providing, let me give you a hockey analogy, of providing an arena and providing the Zamboni to clear the ice. But then it's their job to get out of the way and let the players play on the ice and not get in the way and not create red tape, but to let them play the game that they're meant to play. I'd love to see a thriving downtown core like we used to have. I'd love to see the Wharton Street property developed. And I'd love to see our downtown area developed too. I think that's a missed opportunity, or not an opportunity, but an area where we could see a little more action and have a better town as a result. So just to restate, it's council's job to pave the way for business to take place and to not get in the way.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Bruce Hallquist to respond to that question, please.
Thank you. First of all, we need to make better use of and market what we already have. The Chamber of Commerce does a pretty good job of marketing, but I think we can do better. We have a Bentley Road, newly opened Bentley Road Industrial Park that we need to promote, as well as there are other suitable lands for industrial development and economic development. I think that one of the bigger opportunities this area has is the promotion of agritourism. I think we're missing out on a lot of value-added activities in that area. Wharton Street, I think, would be important to the downtown area, and probably the redevelopment or the development of the lakeside area across from the hotel and so on. There's quite a chunk of property there that the city owns, and I think that needs to be developed.
Thank you.
I'd like to call on Doug Holmes to respond to that question, please.
Economic development, to me, is having the resources to maintain a high quality of life. You can have lots of money, full employment, but if you can't drink the water, or there's no sports to play, or theater to go to, or fresh food to eat, then schools are run down, or whatever, then what's the point, okay? So, to me, smart economic development is smart growth, and that's focusing on infill, redevelopment, densification, promoting local businesses, and protecting agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Hacking, could you please respond to that question?
I work in the downtown core. I have a business down there, and to me, this is about how do we fix the economic situation. Summerland was what I ran on in my last campaign, was doing what we can to make business successful in town. And for me, what I see is we need families in this town. We need more families, an influx of multi-generational people coming through the community that provide our services. Families that are customers for our businesses, that allow them to expand their goods and operations and provide better service to those customers. And that will allow them to not choose Penticton to do their shopping, but to choose here. And if we can get our business core successful through additional customers, we can see attraction of investment. A 1% growth rate does not attract a Warren Street developer. We need to make sure we're getting a growth rate that is enticing to development and enticing to external investment. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Denise McDonald to respond to that question.
I would support the Chamber in developing a comprehensive business plan if they don't already have one. To me, economic development means seizing opportunities in our town, our special town. Perhaps we could create economic incentive zones. Penticton recently in the last 5 years has developed a plan. They have incentives, downtown economic incentive zone, industrial economic incentive zone, waterfront economic incentive zone, tourism, sports and cultural economic incentive zone, commercial industrial economic incentive zone. So what that would do would give opportunities for new and emerging upgrading in existing businesses to get a bit of a tax break. How that's funded, that's asked Penticton how they do it. Apparently it was so successful they had to put a cap on the program.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Daniel Papadopoulos to give your response to that question.
Economic development to me is the growth in the economy or the community through business, new ideas, new business, infrastructure, education, sports, events, development, and maintaining that. Thank you. Oh, and year-round industry, just not seasonal work. There's more seasonal work here than anything. I guess the farming and whatnot. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to turn the mic over to the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Marlene Fenrich, for closing remarks.
Thank you, Wilfred. And thank you for a fantastic job tonight. I really appreciate you keeping us on time. I'd also like to thank the Summerland Baptist Church for graciously loaning us the audio equipment and the operator, Craig. Hi, Craig. Thank you so much. You are really good at cutting that mic off at the 1 minute mark. Thank you to all of you for coming out tonight and hearing for yourself what the candidates have to say. Please make sure that you also take the time to vote and encourage your friends, family, and colleagues to do the same. Advanced voting days are November 5th and November 12th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in council chambers. And general voting day is Saturday, November 15th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Summerland Secondary School and as well Giants Head Elementary School. Last but not least, we have to thank our candidates. I'm sure it was a very difficult evening for you. But hopefully not too difficult, and we wish you all the best of luck. That concludes our evening. Thank you, everyone.